Hello fellow wannabes, I was just another Ling wannabe, and this is the face behind all of the content you've consumed over the past 3 years. Unfortunately, my microphone isn't working, so I'm recording this with my phone and my laptop, so forgive me if my audio sounds worse than the robot voice I used in 2019. So, it's been a really long time since I released new content or even updated you on my whereabouts. And in this video, I think I should tell you guys where I've been, why I changed my name for a little bit, and ultimately, where I'll be in the future. Now, before I begin, I know some of you will look at the title and automatically assume the worst of what this video contains. So before any of you starts to projectile vomit words into my comment section and all over social media, I want to make clear that I'm not making this video to go after TwoSet. I don't want them cancelled, I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Brett and Eddie and what they have done for the classical music community. With that being said, let's talk about the events that ultimately turned me off of being in this fandom. The event that made me quit the fandom was that in the fall of 2020, TwoSet released a video, which has since been deleted, of them reviewing adult beginners at instruments. And one of the guys featured in the video, who goes by the name of Wolfie Venturi online, reached out to them and asking whether they could include a link to his channel in their description. Instead of sparing 5 seconds to put his link in their description, or even outright ignoring him, which would have already been a terrible thing to do, the TwoSet team did nothing else than cut his portion of the video out of their video. And later on, when the fans caught on to what had happened to him, they deleted the entire video to erase the evidence. I've witnessed many events take place in the TwoSet community, but I've never seen one in which such a large proportion of the fan base were united on social media, asking for reasons as to why they were so needlessly cruel to a small creator who wanted video credit. And unfortunately, just like many events that took place in TwoSet's past, TwoSet completely ignored their fans' requests for answers. If any of you know of my presence on social media, you should know that I am not one to be afraid of calling out TwoSet whenever I see them making decisions that are harmful to certain marginalized and minority communities. And all of these causes I've been very proud to fight for and champion. Even if I've received remarks from people saying that they hate me, they hate my content, that I'm psycho, that I need to chill out, that I'm cancelled even. I won't go into the specifics of the instance in TwoSet's past, not only because I've done enough of that when I've been active, but also because I don't want to be caught in arguments with people who only want to stay angry at me, and in the words of Taylor Swift, I'll be falling for it screaming that I'm right. I'm more than eager to speak on issues concerning communities who don't feel like they have a voice in the TwoSet community, because these aren't only issues concerning the TwoSet community alone, but they're also issues that need to be tackled across the entire world. Even if I receive negative comments from certain TwoSet fans, even if I never receive a response from TwoSet themselves. And in a way, it kind of made sense to me that TwoSet wouldn't speak on these issues in the past, because they could be too scared to. They're not sure what would happen if they decide to take a firm stance on a serious social issue, and while I personally don't think it's a good thing to do, it makes sense for them to not take strong issues on stances because they're afraid of the consequences. But what really disheartened me the last time was that their actions couldn't be explained away by apathy and fear of rocking the boat anymore. From what we could see, it was pure unexplained malice towards the small creator who didn't do anything to them besides ask for credit. I know there have been people who have been trying to find a more logical explanation for what they've done, whether they cut his video due to copyrighted music or some other reason. I unfortunately believe that all of those theories are wishful thinking, and unless TwoSet were to say anything about that incident at any point in the future, this is what we're left to think of them. What also slowly ate away at me during my time in the fandom was some of the stuff people had to say about what I had to say, and it's not exactly the words themselves, but instead where they came from with those words. To further elaborate, I know most of the people saying nasty things to me when I was active didn't really hate me as a person, because when I was a stan account, there isn't really an opportunity to get to know who the person behind the fandom is. Where I felt their anger and aggressiveness came from was an unwillingness to change what made them comfortable in order to welcome new members who may come from different places into the community. You guys may be familiar with my video from a while ago discussing whether TwoSet's sense of humor and the way they delivered it was appropriate given the audience that they now have. Most of their humor back then were directed towards musicians who felt underrepresented or even misrepresented among the classical music community. I personally feel I didn't argue anything too crazy or drastic in that video. Contrary to what some people in that comment section might say, I wasn't being the joke police busting down their doors and trying to catch them telling a joke about certain types of musicians. The point I was trying to make in that video was sometimes you need to alter the way you tell jokes, the way you do things, the way you conduct yourself, as your online audience grows and more people from diverse backgrounds start to come in and they may be affected by things you personally aren't affected by. Now, I'm not saying this is every single fan, but I've seen quite a large proportion of fans get so angry at the prospect of me suggesting that they change their ways a bit to help make the community a more inclusive, welcoming space. One of the most clear examples of this was in a response video a percussionist made to one of TwoSet's videos of the time, and the comment section were just full of TwoSet fans saying stuff like, well, good on you for being able to take a joke unlike some people, which I think is such a gross thing to say. Being a TwoSet fan isn't a dick measuring contest. You aren't a better fan for acting a certain way, and you certainly aren't a worse fan for defending yourself against something that you feel is unfair. And one thing I really want is that I wish people were able to voice their opinions about TwoSet's content without being seen as a party pooper or even worse, a hater, just for disagreeing with what TwoSet did. To be honest, some of the things people have been saying to me have got me feeling things, and when I was consuming media from some of my other favorite creators, I've heard them say some things that really resonated with me that wouldn't have if I wasn't involved in making videos online as well.
It's not that you do end up dealing with it,
Yeah.
but it never stops hurting.
No, we went through like a whole year period where she was just afraid of social media because she was afraid of opening up a message and then someone new was like mocking her, or someone she knew personally was mocking her. The best way I can describe getting a lot of hate is I don't know why, but it just feels suffocating.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You could be sitting in your living room, no one's there, but you could just feel like suffocated, just like with all these comments being like thrown onto you.
When someone confronts you like that about like what you do or whatever, it does make you take a second and be like, am I doing something wrong? Am I mean, right?
Yeah,
and so I told him, I said, listen, like when I create a 12 to 15 minute like a video, right? I'm writing it out. It's a piece. It's supposed to have a fucking narrative and all this shit, right? And then I film it and I edit it. There's so many steps to that like process. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything else. You make a song, you make a thing. You can't tell right away whether it's good or not, whether it hit the narrative that you wanted to hit, whether it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So much gets lost along the way, so much gets changed. Maybe it is a little bit mean and you just can't fucking tell when you first make it.
Yeah.
Right? But the nature of YouTube, you put it out there, see what people say, whatever. And so I'm like, maybe some of the videos that I've put out have been like a little bit mean, but that's never, ever, I'm not a fucking, what do you think, I'm a villain? You think I sit down and I'm gonna fuck this dude's day up?
Yeah.
No.
There's this subsection of fandom who feels that anything said or done, even slightly contrary to what TwoSet have done, is a personal attack and something to fight tooth and nail for to defeat. And unfortunately, in the past, TwoSet have more or less enabled fans to do this because of their silence on issues. Their silence at the time suggests to these types of fans that these very important issues to certain subsections of the community aren't important enough to care about, and that they're totally justified in stamping out any voices of dissent that may exist in the community, which is completely awful and counterintuitive to what the TwoSet community was made for, which is uniting all people of all backgrounds under the banner of classical music. But I'm not saying all of these negative things about TwoSet and what have happened with me and the fandom because I want to see them fail. I've always said that I critique or give constructive criticism because I want nothing more than to see them succeed. When you have a platform online, when you are an influencer, you can't really practice for that. You're not going to get everything right the first time, but the most important thing is when you screw up, you learn from it and you grow. And you change. I'll be the first to admit, I haven't been entirely perfect with my time on the internet either, and some of the stuff I've posted on my Instagram stories kind of verged on tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I've had to learn the hard way that on the internet you really have to specify whether something you're saying is serious and to be taken as fact, or just personal opinions and speculation. And I really want to apologize if I've caused any unnecessary drama with some of the things I've voiced in the past. I wouldn't be criticizing TwoSet's actions if I didn't believe they could change, and I know they can change because they have. Ever since I left the fandom, throughout the year of 2021, they're speaking out on issues that are very serious and important for their community to know. I couldn't be more happy to see Brett and Eddie use their platform to inform and educate their audience on very important issues going on in this world, and in a way, it made me happy that I've spoken out on these issues when I was active in the fandom, even if Brett and Eddie themselves never got to see it. One thing I really want to say is that if TwoSet themselves have the potential to learn and grow from their past, I really think the fandom can too. I don't know how it is now, but one thing I'm really hoping is that now that TwoSet is moving in a direction in which serious discussions are encouraged, and that fans are less incentivized to argue that TwoSet is not a serious channel and not meant for subjects like those. I hope it's easier for fans to start talking about serious topics on their own without facing immense rejection or feeling like they're disrupting anything in any way. If there's one parting request I'd like to make with the fandom, it's that I'd like everybody to be more compassionate and understanding of others. I hope people will keep in mind that the way they behave reflects on TwoSet's reputation as well, and being compassionate is the only way to build an accepting community that does what they seek to do. And if this video makes it to TwoSet in any way, I'd really like them to continue to be transparent with their fans. When an issue happens in the fandom, they should address it quickly and in a way which benefits the fandom. So they don't get the wrong idea that harassing fans who belong to a minority group is what TwoSet would want from them, because it is not. So what was I trying to say with this video? What you should be able to get from this is that I ultimately left the fandom due to a combination of the pressures of being a stan account, the interactions I've had with the fandom, generally losing interest in TwoSetViolin and feeling like I've outgrown their target demographic, and ultimately because I want to do something else with my presence on the internet. I think this is a good time to explain why I changed my channel name and removed a lot of TwoSet related videos on my channel for a little bit. I changed my channel name to Vaguely Musical because I fully had intentions to remodel my channel and go in a different direction with my content. I really wanted to make generally music-related content and basically stop being a fan account. I had a whole list of video ideas, and I even started filming and editing videos for the new channel. But I got busy with other things, so videos took a back seat, and as I had a couple of months to think over the ideas that I had for this channel, I ultimately got to the conclusion that it wouldn't be sustainable for me to go forward with this idea. To be honest, music isn't a strong passion that I hold, so the channel that I had in mind wouldn't have lasted long anyway. Plus, I felt removing the TwoSet content that I've made before was unfair to the wonderful supporters that I've gained over these years, who came for the TwoSet content, and it was unfair to withhold it from them. This is why I've made the decision to restore my channel to where it was, keep it a TwoSet fan account, and leave it altogether. I want to say, though, that I don't plan on leaving YouTube forever. While I want to move forward with my life, take a break from YouTube, do some other things, I still have dreams for a channel of my own where I did things that made me happy. I don't know when I'll be able to return, but I do have plans to create a new channel and go in an entirely different direction to what I have been doing for the past couple of years and have fun with my content. So maybe in the future, keep a lookout for me. It's the end of the video, and I want to practice something that Marie Kondo has taught all of us. My time in the TwoSet community no longer sparks joy for me anymore. So I'll be packing it up in this video, thanking it for its service, and putting it away. So I really want to thank Brett and Eddie for inspiring me to enter the world of video editing and content creation and allowing me to expand my horizons past anything I'd ever imagined 3 years ago. I want to thank all the fellow fan accounts I've had the pleasure to meet on social media for giving me the fandom experience. And lastly, I want to thank all of you, the thousands of people who have decided to like, comment, share, and support me through my video making career. I wouldn't have gotten to meet many people from all over the world. I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now without all of you. I want to thank everybody for everything that I have now, and with that being said, it's time for me to go. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.